widespread attack across the Afghan capital and 3 other primary cities. They're targeting government buildings, embassies, even hotels. And the worst attack, it's the worst we've seen in months. Fox News' World Affairs contributor Dominic DiNatale is in Kabul with the very latest.
Shannon, indeed a spectacular attack. Just a week ago, the International Security Assistance Forces here, NATO, were saying that the Taliban could never launch another attack like this. They've been disrupted too much last year. But here we are, 7 months on, and we've seen a similar attack that we saw in the US Embassy back then, and it's taken both ISAF and the Afghans by surprise. Very telling, though, that it's had real little tactical impact, and that's because the only people that have died in this attack are the militants themselves. The Minister of the Interior saying 11 militants killed, but around 23 civilians actually injured. It started about 80 hours ago. It's still going on in 2 separate parts of the city, in Wazir Akbar Khan, which is a neighbourhood where a lot of expatriates live, and also just a little bit down the road towards the Parliament building. We hear there are gunfights still going on there. Here's what happened. About 1:30 in the afternoon, there were volleys of rockets in the direction of the diplomatic quarter, the US Embassy, the British Embassy, and the Germans and the Russians also targeted there, the Parliament building, parts of the security forces, but also in other regions around the country. My colleague Geraldo Rivera was actually inside the US Embassy when it came under attack, and he was actually with the US Ambassador Ryan Crocker, and Ryan Crocker told him that he'd seen this before and it had a very familiar feel. Take a listen.
Pretty similar at this stage, I think, to what we saw in September. High profile, questionable effectiveness. I think this is done more for the splash than a serious attempt to carry out a military operation. But again, we'll just have to see.
What's really interesting here is the fact that the Taliban is claiming responsibility, Shannon, but in all reality, it often does that when it's the work of somebody else. And the Americans believe very much that this is probably the work of the Haqqani network, which is more aligned to the likes of Al-Qaeda than really the Taliban, although it does support to some extent. And the biggest problem of all is the fact that the Haqqanis are apparently supported by elements of the Pakistan Secret Service and security services. And of course, unless that's tackled, we could see more attacks like this again, and that's the big worry. Shannon, back to you.
Dominic, thank you very much.